Hi, today we're here in a place that we haven't been for a while, and that is my own backyard. So this time of year, as you can see behind me, we still have some snow on the ground, but it's a nice sunny day out. So I thought today would be an excellent time to get out here in the landscape and start doing some early planning for the spring ahead. So first off, let's go check out my raised beds. As many of you know, over the last couple years, I was taking care of my dad, and I didn't raise a garden. And as a result, my garden just became completely overgrown. So over the winter, I have slowly, bit by bit, chipped away at it, and I have all the beds cleared out. The next big thing that I need to tackle is the mulch. So I've stripped away this little bit of mulch right here, but I still have the rest of it to do. And I knew it was a mistake when I did it, but I put down ground cloth. And really, I hate using ground cloth because what happens is you cover it with mulch, then weeds grow down through it, and then you're left with a mess. Something that I might attempt to do is a method that I actually saw recently online, where a person had raised beds like this, and what they did is they used wood planking. So it was old rough sawn lumber, and they kind of made planked flooring around the raised beds. So if I can find a cheap enough source for like either offcuts or something like that from a sawmill, I might attempt that. It was a really genius idea. And then like this bed here, I have it mostly cleared out. I still got to tackle these other beds, but really, for the most part, the garden is looking pretty good considering where it was at back in August and September. And then over here, once we get some drier weather, I need to get in here with the tiller and till up the garden. Right now, I can hear it squishing under me, but like right there, you can see that it's still pretty muddy. And then I have my ash pile here from where I burnt a lot of the junk here from the garden. So the next area that I need to tackle here is my wildflower area. The last couple years, it just sort of did its own thing. And now I really need to get in and do some management with it. I just finished buying some seeds that's going to go in here. Altogether, a little over a half pound of seeds. And I've got some plans as far as doing specific areas within this wildflower patch. I would also like to get a large shipment of mulch so I could create some pathways and then also kind of outline the area to define it a little bit better. But really, what I want to do is take the idea of this wildflower patch and move it to other areas here in my landscape. So one of those areas I'd like to address and dress up a little bit is right here where the paths start going into the meadow. Now it's kind of hard to see right now because I mowed down my meadow garden back in fall. What that does is it just kind of helps it regenerate and you get much better grass growth in the springtime. But you can kind of see the outline of like the path going around the tree there, and then where it splits off and goes over to what's going to eventually be a fire pit area, and then also over to the far corner of my property. But right here is kind of the entrance to the path, and it's right along the wildflower area. So what I would like to do is create a smaller wildflower bed right here, and then actually build like a little entrance to this area. So I think that'll frame it out just nicely. Also added to the to-do list is pruning this apple tree. It desperately needs a good prune. So I've got limbs like, you know, you're supposed to cut out limbs that are rubbing against each other. Right here are 3 limbs that are intersecting. So I need to come in and give this a really good prune to kind of reshape it. This last year though, it was kind of the first year that it had a lot of apples on it. And looking at it right now, it has some really nice buds. So I don't want to prune it too deeply, but there are some significant issues with it. Like right here is a limb that's growing straight back and into the center trunk. So we definitely need to take care of that. And then need to fix the leader up there at the top too. Along those same lines, later on this spring, I want to add more fruit trees to the property. It's always been my goal to have multiple fruit trees down here. The issue that I've run into is every fall the deer attack them. They find that, you know, it's great for them to rub their antlers against to get the velvet off. So I need to come up with a solution. I think the solution is just going to be metal stakes around the trees until they get established. Back here in this back corner, this is what I have plans of being a fire pit area. Nothing too fancy, just a simple pit, a couple Adirondack chairs, something nice. Once the grass grows up in the springtime, this area, believe it or not, it doesn't look like it right now. I mean, you got the road right there, but this area does become kind of a nice secluded little area in the spring. And directly behind the house here, I have this kind of, I don't know, kidney shaped area of grass that I let grow up. It just looks beautiful in the summertime with the grass kind of like waving in the breeze. But when I shaped it, I originally created these cutouts in this edge that faces the house with the idea of making little beds with some zinnias or other flowers in it. So I want to do that this year. There's a spot there, and then over on this edge headed toward the garden, I want to do the same thing there. Something I was checking on right here though, I do have a thistle that you can just barely see sprouting right there. And in the summertime, it just has beautiful blooms on it. And it's been here forever. Like back when this was just lawn after we bought the house, I would mow over this thistle constantly. And finally, whenever I started letting this just grow as a grassy area, I discovered that it has just gorgeous blooms on it. And I've actually encouraged it through spreading the seeds manually to pop up in other places out through this grassy area. So we get just some beautiful thistle blooms, usually kind of mid to late May. So that's a quick look here at my own backyard. Again, if you get a nice day like this, go out, take some notes, and start planning. I know we're still a good 2 months away from really breaking ground in the garden, but now is the time to lay the groundwork, to get out, start making plans, start buying seeds, and kind of let your mind run wild and make plans. And well, until next time, keep growing.